Hello everyone, my name is Matt Scorpion, and welcome back to the Reset. Now, I wanted to touch on this before getting into everything. They just did that update where red borders are now allegedly a weekly reset. So, from now until the end of the season, which is officially in the next 4 weeks, is that right? Yeah, in the next 4 weeks, we have 7 full days worth of red borders that we can earn, which means that from all of the areas, all of the seasons prior, any of these guns, you can get them 7 times a week as long as you have the Umbrals and the Umbral energy for it. So, if you were missing anything from any of the prior seasons this season, Risen, Plunder, Haunted, or Seraph, I recommend you grind it out, get the energy you need, find an Umbral engram, and buy one of these daily, because then that could be, you could craft a gun you have 0 of before the weekend ends. So, there you go. That's a good tip for you all. In addition to the change to Umbral energy as well with focusing out of the seasonal stuff, they did also just update Iron Banner rep, so there is generally more Iron Banner rep available across the board. I'm assuming that's just so anyone who did not get the full participation in or something like that, they could get full advantage of it and hopefully grind out Iron Banner before the end of the week. Speaking of which, Iron Banner did just return to us. It is once again Iron Banner Fortress, so that obviously means Saladin is around. However, this is the last time this season, which is going to be changed soon. We're going to go back to 3 Iron Banners a season soon. But this is the last one until the end of the season, so I'd recommend that anyone who actually wants in an Iron Banner, go there now. Get that nice little special chainmail shader. Which, I'm not going to lie, it's kind of underwhelming, at least specifically for my Titan. I know for other people it's amazing, because supposedly, from what it looks like, it just looks great. Let's see what it is. I think it's this one. I know it's supposed to be the chainmail one, and a lot of cloth turns into like the chainmail look, but when I look at it on my Titan, if it'll ever load, it just didn't look well enough to actually be hyped. Yeah, see, aside from my mark, that it's not really great because it's still got the look, nothing on my armor's chainmail there. It's just normal armor. So, like I said, at the same time before, Iron Banner is here. So, aside from that, there is still, of course, Dark Decider and Gnora's Axe returning, and all the other available weapons that came to us during the past set of seasons and everything. Pretty much almost all of this that came out with Witch Queen, all of this is currently available that came out the past seasons, and we'll be losing Razor's Edge and Frontier's Cry after this season, so I'd recommend that if you want any of those, go ahead and grab them now, lest they disappear for a season and do not return until they're revived. But aside from that, basically going into the world, there is a bonus Vanguard booster on, currently 4 ranks. So if there was ever a reason to grind through strikes or high difficulty Nightfalls for purely rank, now is the time to take full advantage of it. And speaking of Nightfalls, the Nightfall currently is Birthplace of the Vile, which isn't too terribly hard of a strike. It's not that bad. I would honestly pick this over most things, so in terms of farming, this isn't a bad one for pure materials. And aside from that, if freaking internet's being difficult, I was trying to figure out what the weapon available for Light.G mentioned, but things are just not working. But aside from that, it is currently Scorched Earth for more grenades, Unstoppable Overload Champions, because this is a Scorn Strike, Empath for Enhanced Radar, but taking increased melee damage. So you actually do, for once, have Radar in this mode. Then for Grandmaster Modifier, you have Match Game, Equipment Lock, Extinguish, Limited Revives, and Mob Champions as usual. All 3 shields, just because Scorn are annoying. And, of course, Void Burn, which means Scorn snipers and anything that deals void damage, including their grenades, will absolutely melt you. And if you manage to complete it, it is Hung Jury this week, so you can get access to the brand new Adept Hung Jury for the first time and the last time this season. Because I doubt unless they add another mode where you just earn everything from a season. That being said, going into the rest of the world, nothing new with Gambit, and like I said, Iron Banner is currently active, but our rotation match is currently Momentum Control, so in case you wanted to play Destiny 2 SWAT, that is currently the thing. I would recommend, still taking a bow or a trace rifle into it, though. Then, into the rest of the world, just popping into the seasons. Currently, for our Legend Heist Battlegrounds, we do have it on Europa for the Legend Heist Battlegrounds. Then for Catch Crash, currently the rotation boss is I1, which I thought was last week, which is still the Shank. But in addition to that, we also have the European Dead Zone for the Zyos Battlegrounds Arena. Now, bouncing into the rest of the world. Now, I did skip ahead a little bit. The rotation stuff. So, Vault of Glass is currently our rotation raid. Deepstone Crypt Farming Week is now over, but now it is Vault of Glass Farming Week. If there's any encounters you want to run, all challenges are of course active. And of course, that also means that Master Mode Vault of Glass has returned, so there is also mobility-focused armor you can earn from this, in case you need that, as well as all the time-lost gear being currently available at all times, in case you need to go for it. Current power 1610, so if you've been keeping up with the season, it should be pretty accessible. And aside from that, into the Cosmodrome, it is currently the Grasp of Avarice for our bonus rotation dungeon. So in case you need a pinnacle or trying to farm that stuff out for its gear, I would recommend that too, except for Galley, because that is a quest gun, not a random drop. But then speaking of Galley and among other things, in the 30th anniversary, our rotation for Dares of Eternity is currently Fallen, Hive, and Zydron for Legend Dares, in case you still need to farm it for Red Borders. Now, into the Throne World, everything is usual as usual. Base information, which if I recall is Second or Caretaker Challenge, which is basically that you cannot bank more than one symbol at one time, so you have to make 9 trips in and out of the darkness zone for your gear. And then a weekly mission is also the Ghost, which is the knockoff Locust of Communion, Hangman, boss for the Witch Queen campaign, in case you need to farm anything from there. And speaking of raids, I can't believe I dodged over this. Kingsfall currently. Master Mode is the Intellect-focused armor, and the current challenge this week is, well, it actually doesn't say what challenge it is on the Master Mode, but challenge is Hands Off Challenge, which, again, I forget which this one is. I think it's Oryx Challenge. Or is it Daughters? No, it might be War Priest. I'm not sure, but at the same time, I do think it do be War Priest, if memory serves. But aside from that, that's pretty much everything in the reset, according to that. Now, we have our seasonal challenges. Now, like I said before, this is one of the last weeks of challenges. We're only getting one more week of challenges ahead of this. So, that being said, the challenges is basically completing each heist battleground on legend difficulty. Now, we gotta have 3 weeks to go with this. If you've done it, I'm not sure this would be pre-done, just because of the fact that, you know, I haven't done any of them yet. I didn't think it was worth it, but if it might have already pre-completed for you in case you have done it. Then we also have Heavy Loadout, which is defeating targets with a machine gun, bonus progress for defeating Guardians, defeating powerful combatants, and heist battlegrounds as well. 35 yellow bar enemies. And we also have Pinnacle, which is reach 1590 by earning Pinnacle rewards, which, if you don't know what that means, you have to reach 1590 via your weapon loadouts. So you need to get all of your gear to 1590. I'm missing a primary on this character, but aside from that, if you have all 1590 power level gear, I'd recommend equipping it. That should proc the challenge to finish in case you need it as well. Now, into one of the last ones. Skip too far. Let's see. We also have Armory Wide Calibration, which is basically using all 3 of your weapon slots and variety, bonus progress against champions. You also have Icy Singularity for defeating targets with Void or Stasis effects, which I believe is in Gambit, specifically, and also bonus progress for defeating Invading Guardians. And we also have Cosmic Chill for defeating combatants with Void or Stasis effects in Vanguard playlists. So basically just play Stasis in a majority of game modes, and you should be able to finish those 2 for some free Bright Dust. Now, into the Gunsmith to see what the last set of guns are. And now, just because of the season, I'm going to still make Eververse and as well, and I'll also have a fun fact video for you later. Now, for our weapons, we have Lunalada. 4B, a stasis bow, lightweight, viced bow, which currently in this loadout is not great. I would definitely recommend you find one with headstone if you so wish for a decent bow for your stasis stuff. And Juraraka 3SR, a viced scout rifle, which is rapid fire and full auto, and has some decent perk options on a variety like rapid hit, focus sphere. I think it also had outlaw. I know there was one roll that I picked up, which was 4 times the charm, golden tricorn, which is pretty solid for a damage build, considering how easy it is to get some stasis kills on hunters and things like that with the little shurikens. Then we also have Galu RR3, a arc sniper rifle from Amalon. Options for PvE and PvP, but of course still not craftable, so it's not as OP as it can be. And Fioritura, which is a rapid-fire Suros sidearm. Fun to use from time to time, but man, does it... it's still a sidearm. Threat Detector Swashbuckler is meant for in the trenches, but it also doesn't have that great of range, so I'd recommend, you know, folks actually use it up close. Then, Typhon GL5, a grenade launcher, which this actually kind of ties into my video. I wouldn't recommend this one because this negates one of the perks on this gun. I'll explain more on that in the video in case you want to learn more. But aside from that, plenty of good rolls. Stasis grenade launcher, it can definitely work for any of your stasis builds in case you need freezing or cooling or anything like that. But then we also have Type N4 FR, which is a Vice linear fusion rifle. Many of you know it as the DPS King. And I will say what I always do when this thing comes around. It is craftable. Only buy this if you need it for a temporary bounty and you don't feel like moving it across the character. Otherwise, just craft this, make a triple tap firing line, triple tap focused fury, something like that. You will be better off using one of those. That being said, my name is Matt Scorpion. This has been The Resets, and I will see you in the next video.